Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom in which we sit down with small cap executives about recent important developments at their companies. With us today, again, I'm happy to have Sean Dollinger. He's not only president and CEO of Namaste, he's also co-founder. The company is Namaste Technologies, trades on the CSE under the stock symbol N for Namaste, in Frankfurt under the stock symbol M5BQ. And for our friends in the U.S., the company just got approved on the OTCQB under the stock symbol NXTTF. In 2 weeks, that'll be fully digital trading, so make sure you watch for that. For those of you who are new to the story, Namaste Technologies is a fast, in fact, forget that, I'd say hyper-growing, revenue-generating, and now profitable company that's emerging as a leader in the massive global trend towards vaping. And more than just lip service, the company is now officially the world's largest e-commerce B2C vaporizer company. They're on an $18 million revenue run rate as a result of some acquisitions this year. They've broken into profitability. 2018 is looking to come in about $25 million, and they own 26 e-commerce stores in 20 different countries. Here to talk about everything at Namaste since we last spoke is Sean. Welcome to the show.
Hey, George. Thanks again for having us out.
Hey. We love having you out because every time we talk to you, it's as if the company keeps morphing into hyperspace with the kind of growth you're having. This show is called Beyond the Press Release, which means clients have had one or two, important press releases over the last couple of weeks. We want to talk about them. You and I last spoke on December 16th. Then obviously the Christmas and New Year's break came out, and you've had no less than 7 monster press releases. I've never seen that before. It's unbelievable. Doesn't surprise me given the pace you're going at. But let's do this. Can we go through a bit of a rapid fire question and answer for 3 or 4 of the most important press releases? That's okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right. Let's start with February 1st. You commenced distribution on eBay. A lot of people who are new to the Namaste story, and there's a lot of them given what's happened to your stock lately, don't realize that you're one of a select group, a small select group of companies that was approved. How important is the eBay commencement to the future of the company?
Yeah, so certain people buy products on eBay. A lot of people obviously love buying off e-commerce websites, but then you have the group of people who simply just love eBay. So Namaste is one of only 20 companies around the globe that will actually be approved for the space, the vaporizer space on eBay. As of now, I believe they've only approved 5. We actually have 100 plus live listings now with 5 templates active, and that was a huge achievement. It was extremely difficult to get, and then even once you were approved, to get approved for the templates was a whole obstacle in itself. So we're really excited to finally have that channel in full motion. And for the month of March will really be the first time that we've ran it fully. So, at the end of March, we'll see exactly what the channel really means for Namaste and the future.
Yeah, and I'll add in there that speaks volumes in terms of third-party credibility, because obviously this is an industry or a sector that these large companies want to tippy-toe into because potential, because the space that's in. So for you to be selected, my own opinion is huge third-party validation.
Absolutely.
Next one, massive. February 21st, you announced an MOU with Canopy Growth, and the purpose of that is to actively migrate medical cannabis consumers to Canopy. Talk about how big that was, because you almost broke the Canadian Securities Exchange on that day with 40, 50 gazillion shares traded. Tell us why the market caught fire with that. How important is that MOU with Canopy?
Yeah, so a lot of people have looked at Namaste from the start as just a peripheral hardware play. And about 90 days ago, we started looking at our customer base. And forget about the customers that buy from Namaste. In e-commerce, you actually have a 50% fallout rate, which even using Shopify and using all the different methods out there, we still get that 50% drop-off rate. But the amazing part about it is the 50% that drop off, we actually get all their information. As well, George, let's say you come to our website and we're out of stock of packs, for example. We ask you for your email address. We ask you to put your email address to add to the newsletter for giveaways. Well, even though these aren't customers actually purchasing from Namaste immediately, if you think about it, it's the perfect clientele for the LPs. And basically with our partnership, never will Namaste sell customers information. We're not in that business, but we're in the business of creating a community, a culture, and offering the best products to our customers. And if that's putting them in a relationship with Canopy or another LP out there, well, that's what we're about. Or who knows, maybe a clothing line that comes out that's really cool that relates to our customer base. We'll enter into relationships like that with the data that we collect and the data from our customers.
And to put that into perspective for everyone at home, you've got about 600,000 visitors that come to Namaste sites on a monthly basis. I read in that press release 28,000 of those were Canadian. So you've got this agreement with a Canadian LP. Is it safe to assume you might be looking to do these kind of deals around the world with other LPs for visitors from those, from other countries?
You got it, George. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Canada will be our test market for the next 90 days. And depending on the results and what we could tweak, we'll go ahead and carry that process through the world. Yeah, through Australia, which we just announced will be controlling 90% of the market share online of e-commerce for vaporizers and peripherals in the States. And as you know, the market was just approved 6 weeks ago over there for medicinal use. The other thing to note is out of the 100% of visitors who come to our website, where we're collecting about 6% of people's data, 94% of people leave. But we use a company called AdRoll, which I'm sure you've seen it on other websites, is you go visit Namaste, and then you go to NHL.com or Yahoo.com, and then all of a sudden you see a banner ad pop up with the hardware from Namaste.
Right.
When we do these partnerships with these different companies, no longer does it just need to be the replicated hardware device appearing, but we could actually then show, for example, t-shirts from a company that we're teaming up with and actually bring them back to Namaste on a landing page, which then will create the relationship between the parties. So there's just so much that we're going to be able to do. So it's not just a matter of looking, hey, Namaste makes X amount in peripherals, this is the net profit, and this is what they're worth. What we're bringing here, you cannot put a dollar value on. Facebook, Yahoo, all these other companies out there decided to create a customer base that they didn't know what they were going to do with. And even if it cost the company billions of dollars to get that customer base, they went ahead and did it. With Namaste, we're actually going to have a profitable system that we're creating a whole culture and a whole, group of people who have so much interest in the space. It's safe to say Namaste right now has the most diversified amount of customers around the world.
And it sounds like this is all happening as a result of the company really accepting here big data, which if we can, I want to talk to you in a second after we talk about the Australian deal quickly, but that sounds interesting because big data is really how you burst through from your core business and then and things just explode. The last press release I want to talk about is February 24th. You acquired Australian Vaporizers, and you also announced a $6 million bought deal with that is now extended to $10 million. So quickly, let's touch on Australian Vaporizer, which you just did. Maybe you can give us some more info there about how important that acquisition is and what the $10 million means to you in terms of future growth.
Yeah, so as I said a little bit earlier, is with this acquisition between Namaste and Australian Vaporizers, we'll actually have 90% of the Australian market. And with the data project that I've outlined to you, what that means for Namaste in Australia is absolutely massive. So we're really, really, really excited about that. As well, it's the first acquisition we've done that a company is actually profitable. So I almost look at it as a bond for Namaste shareholders and investors, as we're buying a healthy and profitable company, mix that in with what we've got at Namaste, and I think it'll be a massive, massive, home run. For the $10 million raise, if you looked a little earlier, our share price wasn't doing as strong as it was today. So we thought that it was the right time for the company and for the long term of the company to actually go ahead, take the full $10 million that we set out to raise. $5.5 million of the 10 million is going right away to buy Australian vaporizers. And the other funds were needed for inventory. So inventory is still king in this industry. The more inventory we could have, the more products we have in stock when customers come, the conversion rate obviously goes up, which means more revenue. So that's what the funds will be used for.
Beautiful. So that ends the rapid fire part of this. For everyone at home, I also want to mention quickly, you got to pay attention. January, and I'm reading here, January 30th, record quarterly revenue. February 2nd, approved to retail the official cannabis brand of Bob Marley. And on March 1st, today, they also approved for trading on the OTCQB. So tons of news. We couldn't get to all of it. Let's talk for a second now about where Namaste is going, because you're hitting on all cylinders. You've got revenue. You're making acquisitions. You've got MOUs with LPs. Where do you see the future of Namaste going?
So I think what we'll do for the next quarter or two is really sit down and take some time in integrating everything across all of our websites. So for example, Australian Vaporizers comes with a few unique SKUs. Vapor Seller has some unique SKUs, and everyone does it as well. So what we'll really focus on for the remainder of this year, because our year end is the end of August, is really focus on bringing all those products across all the platforms, really work on our management software, which will allow us to properly integrate brand new products across our 30 plus domains. So managing 30 plus sites, you can imagine, is a challenge. So with the new software that Chad, who you interviewed before the holidays, he created, and I believe at that time we were discussing the management software that he was going to be working on. And that's actually been fully launched mid-February, and it's off to an unbelievable start. Just to give you a quick stat, everyonedoesit.co.uk was converting at 0.5%. I looked yesterday, and I already took a look at it today. With the new software and some AI that we're using on the websites, we are now converting at 2.56%. That's 5 times.
500% in a month.
Yes, just because we brought it onto our management software. And if you look at the design changes we made and the way people are able to search products, and just the whole flow is completely different. So what we're going to be working on over the next few months is rolling out that piece of software on all of our 29 other websites. Everyonedoesit.com, so the US version actually went live last Monday. So it's going to take about 3 weeks to see that go on the platform and see the results there.
So Sean, what I really like about what you're talking about here is it seems like the company is, doing what you mentioned earlier, doing a Facebook, doing an Amazon, as they got away from their products and went to AWS with digital and data. It sounds like the company is moving aggressively into the data side of things. What does that do in terms of customer retention and customer growth in terms of the products and recurring revenue that you're getting out of them?
Yeah, so I've been involved in 5.coms, including this one. And in a lot of the business models, it was one-off sales. And in Namaste, we're lucky because we have accessories that are sold with products and people need new mouthpieces and screens. Or, for example, a PAX 3 comes out to replace a PAX 2 model. So we see the reoccurring. But with the data, we're actually able to go ahead and get into more of a reoccurring business model. So, for example, the launch of the relationship with Canopy. With Canopy, it's a consumable. So every single month, customers will be purchasing that product, and Namaste will be getting a revenue stream on a reoccurring basis. I think that's absolutely huge for any e-commerce company, being able to generate that secondary revenue.
Am I wrong in saying, am I too ambitious in saying that you sound a lot like Apple in the early days when they had the smartphone? So they came out their smartphone and it lit the world on fire as a piece of hardware, which was great. But then they started bolting on things like Apple Music in order to convert that phone into creating music recurring revenue. And then the apps. And am I wrong to say that it seems like you're shaping up, you're taking the same kind of approach and using that hardware in order to blow out other monster revenue streams?
Yeah, I think it goes back to a company like Apple, or if you look at other successful companies, they've always taken care of the customer first, right? Whether it was the iPod or the computer, that they were totally focused on customers and creating a culture. And I think that goes behind every successful company we look at today. And that's what Namaste has always been about, is about the customers first, finding amazing products to bring them. And then now with this whole environment that we're trying to create and putting products in front of them that relate directly to them, that's really what we see for the future of Namaste and Namaste Technologies. It's kind of neat how originally Namaste Technologies, instead of just calling it Namaste Vapes, we were really looking from day one at the big picture rather than just focusing on a vaporizer company. And here we are a year later from going public. We're yesterday was actually, I think, our 1-year anniversary of being public. Thank you very much. How it's all come full circle. And now it really makes sense. When I used to look at my door here and see Namaste Technologies, I'm like, yeah. But now it's not, that's exactly what we are.
Sean, I got to tell everyone at home, because we're going to end it there, even though we could talk about for another hour with everything you're doing, that from the day we first met, in person, to the time we started doing these webcasts, everything you've talked about has happened. So when you talk about the next 90 days, what you're doing with Canopy and some AI and things that you're starting to incorporate in big data, that really excites me and lets me look forward to the next time you're on here, because it sounds like you're just going to keep blowing up this business. And congratulations on what you've done so far. It's just unbelievable.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, and for everyone at home, it's no secret if you follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn, I've been pounding the table saying, hey, despite the fact that we have a working relationship with Namaste, this seems to be one of the best 5-year holds I've ever seen. And that's not investment advice to anybody. That's my own personal advice. But, you're talking about a growing industry, a leader, fantastic technology. It's got all the right requirements. So you've been watching Sean Dollinger. He's president and CEO of Namaste Technologies. The company trades on the CSE under the stock symbol N. In the U.S. under NXTTF, and in Germany for our friends on the Frankfurt Exchange, M5BQ. You can find the company at namastetechnologies.com or get to Agoracom, take a look at all the information we've got there, plus all the historical webcasts we've had with Sean, and make sure you put the company on your watch list. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and talk to you next time.
Thanks.